really need. Yeah, yeah. You know I'm about. When the downtown lights start to come out at night, we go insane, we go insane. And when I arrive, I start to lose my mind, I go insane.
Well, that wasn't exactly the quiet, smooth transition to silence that I was hoping for, but we got it anyway. We're going to just live with it. Good evening, everyone. How are you doing? Welcome to Early Morning Barking Live with a slightly weird pinkish hue to it all. I don't look like a. Hang on. Hang on. There are lights in here. I say sometimes you have to provide your own spotlight, and when you do, it's better to have two. That's how that works. Good evening, everybody. Welcome to this thing where I talk to you live on the internet, and hopefully you respond. This is a two-way thing. This is why we're live. So, good evening. I hope you're all well. I hope your weekend was good. I hope your Monday didn't suck so bad. Does everybody else's Monday suck? Mine are okay. Actually, mine are pretty good. Mondays are generally the morning where I just get to get up whenever I want. And I tend to do, let's be honest, fuck all day. Today I didn't do nothing. I did 2 videos, so that's something, I guess. And I'm doing this, but throughout the day, whatever. I get it when I want on a Monday. I like that. Usually because I go to bed when I want on a Sunday, and that's usually about 4 or 5 a.m. So I have to stay up late. I hope you all got enough sleep. Do you know what's happening is while I'm talking to you, my computer is deciding that it's nighttime and has started making my screen yellow. There we go. Now I can actually see what stuff looks like, and my hair makes me look like I have horns. I need to book a haircut. As usual, I have nothing planned. For this evening, we can talk about whatever you want. I have a few things I've been ranting about today. We can talk about other stuff. You know, the big MPD story that's happening is all this Russell Brand shit. I watched The Thing. We can talk about that. We can talk about anything you like. I can talk about my new laptop for a bit. Do you know I used to do tech stuff? Tech support Rich, they used to call me. It was all my emails and everything. Tech support Rich everywhere. And I kind of don't do that much anymore. I kind of miss it. I do miss it. I think I just got out of the tech as much as I was because it was very expensive. And also, I mean, God, if you want an area of content creation that is very crowded, there you go. Tech and gaming. It's all tech and gaming. And when I started Early Morning Barking, I had a bit of a go with it. And it did appallingly. It did even worse than the mental health stuff. So I kind of just stopped almost immediately. And so I don't get to talk about tech that much anymore. And I did the big show on the British Tech Network. Great show. Go and watch that. That's cool. And that kind of helped a little bit. But then I was specifically banned from talking about Apple stuff on that show. Which is, I get why they did that. They weren't banning me personally from talking about Apple stuff. They also have an Apple tech show, so they didn't want crossover. I get that. That's cool. I'm not complaining. I'm just saying it provided me with an itch I couldn't scratch. And so I am sort of desperate to review a laptop or something. But I have nowhere to post anything like that anymore. There's nothing at all. Do you want me? I could tell you about the new secret TikTok channel I've got. We'll come to that later. Because I want to do other stuff, right? This mental health stuff is all well and good, but you know, I want to do other stuff, and I started doing some movie reviews, and I'm continuing with this, albeit a little slowly at the moment. It's a backseat project thing. I'm not pushing it as a thing yet. But I'm getting closer to pushing it as a thing. I I'm also trying to concentrate a bit more on TikTok. Um, I distinctly remember there being a time. I'm gonna check now when I could get a TikTok video into thousands, if not hundreds of thousands, if not millions of views. And now I can't get one past a bloody thousand. It's doing my head in. And I don't know what the change is. I'm not losing sleep over it. I'll be honest. But it's doing my head in. You are all subscribed to my TikTok channel, right? I mean, it's got to be the very greatest TikTok channel there is. Uh, it's really not, but I'm happy with it. I've not really been, if I'm honest, going through a lot of BPD MPD stuff. This is ultimately my problem and why I'm trying to think of something else to do, because I'm sort of running out of not ideas but problems. Right? All of this 3 videos a week, here are my problems, here's what I'm going through, all of that. It's all very calm at the moment. You know, I suffer mostly from what I think is ADHD stuff, and I am not that up on that stuff. I'm not even sure. Like, some of it I am, some of it I know what it is, and other times it's like, is this an ADHD thing? I am not diagnosed. I have not seen anyone about it. You know, it's not like the BPD MPD. For that I have a piece of paper. Right? That's easy. I might have some CPTSD. That's entirely feasible. That's entirely feasible as a thing. Because you know, something caused this MPD, right? And without going into details that are difficult, to say the least, I have things in my life I can point at and go, look, PTSD, CPTSD, whatever. CPTSD has a few too many letters for me to deal with comfortably. There are things there, and one day I will talk about it. But not today. Not today. I'm off center. There we go. I thought that camera was pointing in an odd direction. I've been messing with my setup here today, so things are a bit screwed up. You know, because I got a laptop. As I might have mentioned, I got a laptop. So there are dongles here now. There are dongles here, and there's other stuff. And I did the classic thing. I had my big glass of juice on the go that I often have. There's one here right now. Here we go. So it was this amount of liquid. This I would say is roughly a pint. Roughly, maybe a little bit less. And I was saying, you know, I had the laptop, I've got my mixer here, separate keyboard and mouse. There's an Amazon box, 2 monitors, 2 lamps, a little clock with a thermometer in it on my desk. And I poured one of those glasses of juice all over all of it. Yeah, that was fun. You have never seen me move so fucking quick in my entire life. And trying to decide what thing do I save? What thing do I save first? And I went with the keyboard because that got most of it. To be honest, I was pissed. And it was one of those where it goes all over everything and then it starts running off the desk and dripping onto the floor. And on the floor under my feet here are a number of multi-plug electrical sockets and that sort of thing. So that was a fun 10 minutes that seemed to go by in the blink of an eye. That's what I've done today. Everything is wiped off and seems to have survived the process. My mouse wheel here has a little, whenever I roll it, more juice comes out of it. And it's still coming out. I have tried shaking it. I've tried all kinds of things, whatever, but I'm still getting wet when I use the mouse wheel here. But But the mouse is still working, which it damn well needs to, because this was 120 quid mouse. I do like it. I love the mouse, but it's yeah. So are we on CPTSD tonight? Is this the thing? I can't talk about it though. This is the thing. Right? The difficulty with it is, compared to all the other stuff, is that it starts to involve other people, right? When I talk about narcissism, when I talk about BPD, I'm talking about me and just me and me related things. And that's fine. I can choose what I share with you, what I don't share with you, all that kind of thing. That's cool. When it comes to the CPTSD stuff, that starts to involve other people, because you can't go through a PTSD event on your own, right? That's not something that happens. It needs to have, usually, I think, the involvement of other people too. And at that point, and especially when I'm so invested in the BPD MPD stuff, right? The only way to talk about the PTSD level stuff is in an accusory way. This was done to me, that was done to me, this is why I'm like I am, all of that stuff. And look, it's pivotal stuff. It's like, it's so important behind all of this. And I've talked about it all in therapy, that's fine. But to talk about it with you guys, I can't do that yet, because it involves someone else. And I don't want to deal with that. And in actual fact, it would probably do more harm than good at this point. And so there's nothing I can talk about with it publicly. But like I say, I will do one day. And when I do, everything will become clear, and you'll go, right, I see. This is why you've never talked about that. Because I get asked a lot, where does your BPD, MPD come from? What happened to you? Yeah, stuff happened to me, right? Obviously it did. It happened to all of you lot, didn't it? Wow. Solaric, you're giving a deposition in a week, and the events occurred almost 60 years ago. That's quite a thing. I wouldn't have to go to deposition levels for my thing. But because anything that happened to me was not the result of malice, or it was not done to me on purpose, or out of hate, or out of lack of care, or out of anything like that. And so starting to tell somebody, you did all this to me, in my case, is counterproductive. That's by no means what it's like for everybody at all. I'm not speaking generally. I'm speaking specifically about myself in this case. And so, that's how it goes. Noisy is here. Hello. Hello. It's so good to see you back. Welcome back to the chat. Welcome back. So much. I know you're doing well, and I'm so pleased how well you're doing. I really am. I think you're doing great. You certainly seem that way on Twitter. So welcome back to the show. Welcome back so much. It's good to see you. And I hope you just continue getting better. I really do. Did you see today's video? No, interrupt away. I'm here to be interrupted. If no one interrupts me, this ends abruptly. Right? This is my problem. and I know this happens, is that sometimes I start talking and you all sit and listen, which is brilliant. I'm not telling you not to listen to it. I'm not complaining. Let me make that very clear. I know you all just sit and listen to me. But that's bad for interaction. You know? That's what the problem is. You're all sitting listening so intently. I love that. It's great. You know, I don't know if this will come as a surprise. I'm blowing my own trumpet here. When I was doing primary school teaching, I kill at story time. Right? I kill at this. And so I end up coming on here and I do it, and you'll sit and listen to me. And it's like I say, it's no, I want interrupt me, you know, come on in here. Brilliant bingo. It is so good to see you, sir. Thank you for coming. And Star Trek podcasting. My God, no, it's so good to see you. You want to see the t-shirt? Hang on. It just says nope. I got it because it says nope and because it was in yellow. It's so good to see you, Brilliant Bingo. I remember that name from forums and all kinds of things. Do you remember forums? This is very much a sign of how old I am. Is that I remember forums before they were called Discord. By the way, that's what took me so long to figure out Discord. It was like, it can't just be forums, can it? This is just forums in an app. Like, it is. Oh, no, it makes sense. So long ago. Oh, the Simply Syndicated forums. Those were the days. That was before so that was social media at the time. And God, it was incredible. We had quite the community going on there. And then social media was invented and everything moved off forums because no one wanted to come to a forum anymore. Everybody just wanted to be on Facebook or Twitter. And it just killed it off. Just killed it off. It was, you know, and we had Facebook groups and Facebook pages and all of that stuff. And it was never as good. It was never the same. You could never do the same with Facebook groups that we could do with that forum that we had. I don't even know that they still make that forum system anymore. And it's been a very long time since I have to look this up now. Forum software. What did we used to do? What was it called? And it was a thorn in my, it wasn't vBulletin, wasn't Discord, PHP BB. And yes, they do still make it. And my God, they're on version 3.3, which I think I installed version 3 like 20 years ago. So God knows what's different with it now. Probably nothing. And I used to have to run this thing and make sure it worked and all that stuff. It was a fucking nightmare. It was an absolute nightmare. Discord is far easier. I don't have a Discord, but it's easier to administer. Hello, Cat. Everybody's here tonight. This is good. I like this. And Telonis, hello. Hello, everybody. It's good to see you all here. It gives me a good feeling of having a social life. You know? Oh, I shouldn't click on things. But yeah, we had this forum. It was fantastic. We did Secret Santa every year. We did oh, what was the game we played? Was it some kind of gangster murder game that was played on a forum? I can't remember now. But that was, God, and that was, yeah, this was 20 years ago now. That's the disturbing thing. We're coming up on like 20 years since the beginning of Simply Syndicated. I think, was it 2005? So not quite 20 years yet, but we're there, we're nearly there. And that was, it's just stunning to think how much it's changed since then. Absolutely stunning. And I'm still kind of surprised that podcasting just never became the thing I thought it was going to become. I feel like it was successfully put down and destroyed by mainstream media quite easily, and never became the thing it could have become. Yeah. Um. So that's the thing. But yeah, Brilliant Bingo. I remember that name from years and years and years ago. It's good to see you, and I got you into Star Trek. So there you go. And yeah, I have since stopped watching Star Trek. Um, that's not technically true. Actually, I am as much the Star Trek fan as I ever was. I just hate all of the new stuff, with the exception of season 3 of Picard, which was, of course, brilliant from beginning to end. But everything else, I have absolutely loathed and hated. I just don't see it as real Star Trek. It was like the reanimation of a dead corpse of a loved one. Watching that stuff, it was like just one of the most disturbing things I've ever been through. Um, and yeah, I couldn't watch any of it. Couldn't watch any of it. Um, and so I kind of gave up trying. How far did I get? I got through 2 seasons of Discovery and 3 episodes of season 1 of Picard. And that was it. I think I watched an episode or two of Strange New Worlds of the first season. And just gave up on it all. I'm not watching the fucking cartoons and pretending that that's a real thing that I care about. Um, just all of it. I really 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 hate and don't get on with at all. So yeah, I couldn't do a Star Trek podcast now. I couldn't do it, and I still don't feel I got the recognition I deserve for doing the first one. So my covert narcissism loves playing with that a lot. Um, you know, it's the Star Trek has gone bad now. Um, and that's the thing. But yeah, God, I do miss those days. I miss the optimism and youthfulness of those days. It's very odd. It's very odd. Um, how long ago it all was. Because in many ways it still feels like yesterday. But life has changed just so much since then. So much. Um, for the better in many ways, and differently, I think. And God, I much prefer doing the YouTube stuff to podcasting. Much prefer this. It's easier. It's definitely easier than podcasting. With podcasting, you're just out there doing it on your own. And as much as people complain about YouTube, and I knew people complained about YouTube before I started going on it, but as much as they complain, honestly, you don't know you're born. It's so much easier than podcasting. It's not true. It's just so much easier. But anyway, well, Cat and Noisy are here, and excellent. Thank you for coming, everybody. I do appreciate it. As I say, feel free to interrupt me. I just talk until you interrupt me. Noisy, what have you just done there? In the what is that as a thing? Did you sign up for the thing? What is it doing? I don't know what it's doing. Anyway, sorry, just broke my concentration there for a minute. So anyway, how about that? How about that thing the other night? I was gonna do a video about it today, actually, and I kind of did. Thank you, Noisy. I will keep being amazing. I appreciate that very much. Thank you. Yeah, so watching it was very interesting. Watching it was very interesting because they started out calling him a narcissist. And straight away, you just sort of like the eye roll. Oh, yeah, blame the narcissist. Anyone who does anything bad is a narcissist. All of this. And then they went on, and you started hearing more of the accusations towards Russell Brand and all of this sort of stuff, all the way people described it. And you quickly realize, oh shit, the guy is so a narcissist. Like we are ticking every fucking box here. Like it's just textbook stuff. And then I watched his get out in front of it video, and you realize, yeah, this is proper fucking textbook narcissism. Really, it was quite something to watch. You know, the way everybody talked about him, the way they described things going down was so very narcissistic. It's untrue. And it sort of leaves you wondering, like, what would I have been like with that opportunity? Right? Now, I've never sexually assaulted anybody in my life. It's not in my, not just nature, but even within my narcissism, there isn't room for that. It doesn't fit. It doesn't work. And so I don't think I don't doubt for a second that I wouldn't have done that sort of thing. But with regards to everything else, given the opportunity, would I have been that much of a twat? Yeah, I think so. I think so. I think I'd have been nastier with that kind of positive reinforcement. I think this is the difference between your common garden narcissist on the streets and your famous narcissists. Because they have opportunity. That's what that boils down to. It's opportunity. There have never been that many women interested in me like there have been in Russell Brand. Whatever. You can set out to do all those things, but you kind of need to have all the women agree with you that you should be somebody who sleeps with a lot of women, right? And for me, that's not the case. Not like it is for a famous person. And so I've never had that opportunity to be that bad or do those bad things. And so it's never come up, but it does somewhat leave you wondering. And I did say during the show, the fact that I'm hearing some of this and thinking, hey, that's not too bad, I'd have done that. Is that an indication that he's fine or that I'm not? And it's more an indication that I'm not, because he's not either. And so I found it, watching all of these accusations towards a narcissist as a narcissist. And the interesting question, does it give me some degree of not empathy, but I don't know, sympathy? Because yeah, he's a person doing bad things. Psychologically, mental health speaking, There's reasoning behind that, right? This isn't just a person who's woken up evil one day and thought, hey, I'm going to go out and rape me some women. That's not what happens. This is a person who's dealing with whatever their shit is, right? And I would imagine for him, there's going to be feelings of inadequacy, of not being good enough, is, so many things surrounding that. Lack of confidence, the opposite of what he exudes. And so do I feel any sort of sympathy, like, oh God, this guy's been acting out because of mental health problems, because of traumas he's been through, because of whatever. And I don't know everything about the guy, but I'm imagining, given his drug use and past, that he will have at some point been through some shit of some description. I don't know. To put this guy in that position in life. But does it make me feel bad for him? No, it fucking doesn't. It's the same as, like my lowest ever rated video, that sympathy for Donald Trump thing, which still seemed like a sound idea for a video, but clearly has not stood the test of time and was not great at the time. Just witnessing somebody's narcissistic collapse, do I feel bad for that? Because I didn't feel bad for him, and no, I don't feel bad for Russell Brand, because they make the bed they lie in, right? And I'm also aware that if we are the same psychologically, if we do go through the same things, whatever, if we have this past trauma, we have all these fears, worries, feelings of inadequacy, etc., etc. I still have never done any of those bad things, right? There's no stories of former rape victims waiting to come out about me, or stories of sexual assault, or leaked WhatsApp chats, or accusations of God knows what. There's none of that, because I've never done any of that. And if I have this condition, if I live in this situation, if I have MPD, and I do, and I've never done those things, then doing those things is not a feature of the condition, right? It's not because he's a narcissist. It's because he's a twat and an utter dick and a horrid, vile person that it took that form, that he did that he felt entitled to that. Because look, when we talk about our entitlement, when we talk about our narcissistic entitlement, the stuff that leads to that, there are boundaries on this, right? There are boundaries in the real world that stop us from acting out everything, right? So, as an example, I won't just walk into a shop and pick everything up and say that's mine now and walk out, because I'll be done for shoplifting. That's theft, right? And that's not a struggle for me on a daily basis, right? I don't just go around and I'll just take some money out of the till, I'll just do this, and I'm just going to sexually assault you because I'm entitled to, and all of that. That doesn't happen. There are boundaries on our entitlement. And yeah, it comes out in rage at shop workers when things go wrong, service job people, all of this stuff that I've talked about. There's a good underwatched TikTok on it, like 2 or 3 TikToks ago. I'm sat in Bradford. Go and watch it. It's criminally underwatched, that video. And so there are limits on it. As entitled as I've ever been, and issues I've had surrounding relationships and sex and all of this stuff that I've ever had in my life, none of it has ever taken this direct hurting of other people route. It's not a feature of narcissism. It's a feature of being a great big C word. That as much as I will swear on these fucking live shows, I feel the need to just keep that one in the holster for a minute, right? That entitlement it staggers me. And I think that being able to break down that barrier between the legal and acceptable and the illegal and unacceptable. Now we're into some serious dark triad stuff, right? We're into criminality, we're into psychopathy, we're into all of that dark, fucked up shit. From the point of view of a professional narcissist, it's a little disturbing and unfortunate and annoying that I have to be put on that pile, right? Because from a mental health standpoint, you can put me and Russell on the same fucking pile. But from every other standpoint, no, you can't. And you mustn't. You know? It's the way these things present themselves is very different. And I kind of want to do more dark triad stuff, but I'll be honest, it's an area that I've had trouble getting my head around. I think it's this is one of those times where if I were a psychology student doing psychology at university and could talk to lecturers and could talk to other students and that sort of thing and you know get a few questions answered and that, I'd probably be a lot more all right with it than I am. But it's I've in my videos I've always tried to stay away from areas of psychology that I don't personally experience because I'm not a psychologist. I'm not a doctor. I'm not a therapist or a counselor or anything like that. And so I do think it starts I'm not in a position to start commenting on this stuff as if I know what it is. Um and yet at the same time I am aware that there is a very big distinction between what I go through and the dark triad stuff. Like massively different stuff. Did I hang on? I think I did a dark triad test many years ago. And I think I bookmarked it. Or did I? Or have I? No, I have since deleted links to that because it stopped being a. In my random bookmarks folder, you can't look in there. There's some, you know. But yeah, I did the dark triad thing, and I scored high on narcissism and low on psychopathy. I am so low on psychopathy, it's ridiculous. Um, and I thank my BPD for that massively. Continue to because I'm very glad that I'm not that I score low on psychopathy. That's the scary one, isn't it? That one's the scary one. Kind of wish I still had that link now. I wish I hadn't deleted that. Did I really delete it? I think I did. Unless I happen to have it in another browser that I haven't. Oh, maybe. No. Bum. I just updated all my bookmarks because I got the laptop. And all my browsers are synced now, so everything's gone. Okay, fine. Okay, fine. I'm just still glad I have the laptop after today's juice spill. That was it was epic and terrifying all at the same time. The laptop did get a little bit wet, but really not much, thank God. Um and hey, this is what uh home insurance contents home contents insurance is for. You need to see the video in it. What my video from today? There's two. There's a big one on YouTube, how the accused narcissist manipulates you, and there's a 1 minute 40-second version on TikTok. which is a totally different video, but it says basically the same stuff. Go and watch the TikTok one, please, everybody, because I'm trying to get. I mean, the views have dropped off on that. Doing my head in. Don't know why. I don't know why it's happening. TikTok is usually a weird place of stuff to try and figure out.
Well,
as
you
a
could make
content
that
creator.
argument
I've pressed
for,
the button. I didn't mean
but
to
I
press
don't.
now. Sorry, everyone. Did I bring that up? That make a noise that you heard? Don't worry about not having seen today's video yet. Don't worry. It's all okay. I know not everybody watches them on day one. And that's fine. You're allowed to do that. I'm not complaining at any point. And plus today's video is actually doing pretty well. Oh, it was the #1 video. It's just dropped down. I don't know if you know, when you have but for YouTube channels, you have your channel dashboard and it ranks your videos over time. So in the first 3 hours and 28 minutes of being posted, because it seems this video was posted 3 hours and 28 minutes ago, it was the #1 video over 3 hours and 28 minutes. It's just dropped down to #2, behind the Fighting the Stigma video, which had 6 more views at this point. And just above the Quiet BPD and Dragons video. Oh, I made the Quiet BPD angry. Oh, the number of people who have felt the need to get in touch with me and tell me what quiet borderline personality disorder is and come at me with such utter shit. Like, I was diagnosed quiet PPD. It's like, no, you weren't. No, you fucking weren't. No mental health professional has diagnosed you with a thing that doesn't exist. And oh god, what have we got here? Right, I've just done a quick Google search for BPD subtypes. And they're all made up, by the way. They're all fake. They're all fictional. Hello, Pamela. It's good to see you. Welcome to the live. This is where I just ramble about random shit until one of you interrupts me with something more interesting. So please feel free to jump in if you like, and all of that. And everyone seems to be very friendly in the chat room. Yeah, it really does trigger people. The thing with the quiet BPD that gets me is that belongs to a group of 4 BPD subtypes made up by the same person. I've forgotten the name. Let's see if this website lists them. No, it doesn't. See, I've been to 2. I'm trying to find I've done. What have I typed in? I typed BPD subtypes in. I'm lying them on Bing of all things here. And none of these things are bringing up a BPD subtype of quiet BPD. We have the discouraged borderline, the impulsive borderline, the petulant borderline, and the self-destructive borderline. But that's hang on. We've got discouraged. Oh, discouraged is quiet BPD. Right, that's what we're saying. So quiet BPD is a made-up name for a made-up thing. And what amuses me about it the most is that of the 4 totally fictional made-up BP subtypes, you only without fail get quiet BPD people. Nobody has ever come to me and say, I think I have petulant borderline. Not once ever has that happened. Nobody does that. Self-destructive BPD. No one has ever come to me and said, "Hi, I think I have self-destructive BPD or impulsive borderline." Right? They all just come with quiet BPD. I've got quiet BPD. Like, no, you haven't. You've got BPD. Shut up and be a quiet BPD, but you don't have quiet BPD. This is why I love triggering them. Hello, Super Anxiety Chick. It's good to see you. All is well. You've started your own channel. What's it called? Give it a plug in the chat. That's fine with me. And I need to, look, I've only just thought of this actually. Right? Get shut up and be a quiet BPD on a t-shirt. Someone designed that for me. Thank you. I totally agree. That should be a t-shirt. I think first, I've already reached the point where if you're going to come to me and say you have quiet BPD, I need you to at least name the other 3 subtypes without prompting, because no medical professional has diagnosed you with that. You've decided you've got quiet BPD, and you haven't. So I need to know what made you think you had that over the other 3 types, because obviously you've put so much fucking work into this, right? And if you can't even name the other 3 subtypes, if you can't look at like petulant borderline and go, well, here's why I don't think I have that one, then why should I, that totally invalidates your entire argument. Getting into, I am interested in people's desire to be special. I think particularly at the moment in society in general, that's not true. In Western society, specifically the UK and the United States and Canada, right? Most of Europe seems cool with this. Once the further east you go, they haven't got a fucking clue what you're talking about, right? Go to Japan and ask them about gender identity, and they honestly don't have a clue what you're talking about. That's just not a part of the thing, right? This is purely Western, UK, North American shit. And I am curious about what makes people want to add problems and add deeper definitions of things. It's like, I'm not a happy normal person. There must be something wrong with me. I need a name for that. That name is BPD. Oh, there's already a lot of people with BPD. I need to be more special. I've got a special subtype of BPD. And these people need to go on and put, I've got this and this and this and this, and and we'll get a whole list of, look at all these symbols I can put after my Twitter username, etc. Because look how much I'm suffering and oppressed and struggling and all that sort of thing. And it's all bullshit. It's all manufactured. It's all something else masquerading as what they think it is. They aren't special. I'm not special. You're not special. None of us are fucking special. And you're right. It's like a mental health competition. It's the oppression Olympics, right? Who is the most oppressed and the most struggling, right? There's always one group. Oh, we're the most oppressed. Oh no, actually, we're the most oppressed. And you start to see it in. I see a lot of it in protests and stuff like that. There's the oppression Olympics. Two-spirit BPD. Yeah, this is it. And I think people just want to be unique and not necessarily not special in a positive way, but special in a unique way. Probably coming from realizing that you're not. I don't know. I get a feeling that millennials and Gen Z, or Gen Z because I'm British, sort of grew up having it reinforced that they were in some way special. And they're now becoming adults and realizing that they're not and they don't matter. And I think that's coming as quite a shock for a lot of them. I feel like that's what it is. Like when we say, no, you don't matter. You really don't. No one has to give a shit about you. No one has to think about you or care about you or take your feelings into account. You're just in the way. Move. And I'm fine with that as a concept because that's the world I grew up in. That's the Gen X universe. You don't matter. Shut up. Smack. Right? That's how we were. And so when I grew up and found out I'm not special, I already fucking knew that. I was fine with that. And I don't feel this need to add things to reasons why I'm oppressed, reasons why I'm struggling, reasons why I, you know, can't do things. And this is now a thing. Oh, I'm this and I have this and this thing, and then I do this and I'm oppressed because of this, and this person said this to me, so I'm oppressed. And it's like, shut up. You're oppressively dull, is what you are. And I think it sort of feels like, again, the Gen X thing was you were raised to believe you could be special if you did something special. Right? If you achieve, if you work hard, if you get a good idea and follow through on it, all these things, right? And there's numerous examples of people who are well known, famous in the world, successful, whatever, because they did a thing. And that's what made them special. You know, artists, technologists, creators, business people, all kinds of people who did a thing. They achieved, they had an idea, they were good at something and they did it and they succeeded and now they're special, right? And we know who all those people are. But the problem is that's really hard to do. And the majority of humans are not special. They do not have good ideas. They don't work harder than everybody else. They don't do anything special about themselves. And yet they still want to feel special. And so I think there's this, if I can't be special for what I've done, then I need to be special for what I am. And so, given that there is nothing special about what you are, we have to make some shit up. And so, quiet BPD. You're, do you have quiet BPD? You're more special than those people who just have boring old BPD. It just staggers me. There's a lot about the general public at large that staggers me still. And that need to be special too. Is just staggering to me. But everything continues to be. Thank you, Narcissist X. You have a channel too. What's the channel name? If someone came to me saying they have quiet BPD, then they would be quiet because they couldn't get a word in over my laughter. That's where I am with it. It's just people can't hear me laughing when I'm reading your comments while I'm having a shit. That's the other thing too. Like when I'm reading, I'm usually on the toilet. That's usually when that happens. An alarming amount of my thinking happens when I'm on the toilet. I even came up with early morning barking when I was having a shit, and that makes it very difficult to explain in certain circumstances. I did a webinar for somebody I met through Instagram. Bear with me 1 second. Reframing you, and their Instagram name is reframing.you. Oh, they've had Jacob. And she did ask, where did you come up with the name Early Morning Barking? And the first line of that story is, well, I was taking a shit one morning. And it doesn't work in polite. I can say it to you now because here I can say I was taking a shit. But in like polite society when I'm trying to be, hey, I'm Mr. Professional YouTube channel guy, I can't start a channel with poo. I can't start a story with poo. That can't be how it goes. And so I did well one morning when I was just casually minding my own business, doing nothing in particular, I heard my dog barking. And do you know, my ex said to him, "Shush, Paisley, it's too early for barking." And I said, "My gosh, early morning barking, that would be a good name for a YouTube channel." And then I got up and wiped and flushed. Ah. But yeah, check out the reframing you on. I imagine she's on other things as well, but I have the link through Instagram. Um, and stuff. I don't know if you can still see the interview we did. It was a fun thing that we did a month or two ago. Would do again. Would do again. Oh, thank you, Narcissist Hex. Your channel is Narcissist Hex. Thank you very much, sir. Um, BPD is a complicated one. You would understand it. I think if you understand narcissism, you understand BPD because it's the same sources of things. It just plays out differently. I think that again, in my humble opinion, I find the difference to be sort of inwardness and outwardness, and I think that we on both sides of the MPD BPD fence, there is trauma there is stuff that we have to deal with, and we're reacting to it in adulthood. And with the MPD, it becomes very externalized. Hey, Noisy, take care. I'll speak to you soon. Thank you for coming. Um, yeah, MPD becomes very externalized, right? This is how I treat other people. This is what I think I'm entitled to, my delusions of grandeur, my covert narcissism, my grandiose narcissism, all of this, right? And you get to see it, and it's out there, and it affects other people directly in the way I interact with them and all of that stuff. BPD comes from the same place, but it gets internalized. And instead of being that, for example, when you look at entitlement, NPD will take it to that I'm entitled. I should have these things. I should have that. I should have your attention. I should have fame and fortune and notoriety, whatever it is we want, right? I should be able to talk to the manager. Whereas BPD is, I don't deserve. I don't deserve that thing. I don't deserve to be loved. I don't deserve to be liked. I'm not good enough for this, all of that sort of thing. So it's the same sort of stuff, but it attacks you personally inside. Um and so I think I've always felt like the narcissism and the borderline, they're two sides of the same coin. They really are. And I think if you can get your head around one of them, you can understand all of it. It all pretty much is the same. And I would link ASPD and HPD in there as well. I think they're, things that come out of all of the trauma that we've had. It's all just a trauma response. Somebody did put that on a t-shirt, nobody bought it. Um, and so that for me is the difference right there. But I can tell you what, you definitely don't have quite borderline personality disorder. You don't, because no one does. But you can't tell people that. You can't. you can't tell people anything. And I think my video today, the what did I call it? How the accused narcissist manipulates you. I am staggered at how people still fall for this shit. Right? I am absolutely staggered at how people still fall for it. I mean, yeah, maybe if you're unknowing, if you don't know about this stuff, okay, but you've seen my videos. If you've seen other videos on the topic, like, come on, what do we have to do? And I took everybody on that video through a sort of uh a guide. Like, here's a couple of things that we do, you know, the Darvoing, the fake admitting things, the blaming you because, if you can't take us, that's your problem. You just can't handle me. You're not enough. And all this stuff. And all I was saying all the way through is like, why do people still fall for this? What do I have to do as a content creator, as a narcissist content creator? What do I have to do to communicate to people the shit that we pull? I honestly don't know. I honestly don't know what I have to do because I can give people step-by-step guides. And then you see example after example after example of people just falling for it over and over again. You know, and watch, if you want to see examples of it, a good thing to watch is like YouTube apology videos. YouTube and TikTok apology videos when people have been caught out doing bad shit and all that stuff. Go and watch those videos because what they'll do is they'll give you like they will just prove me right. They will give you that step by step progression through the Darvo, through the blaming you, through all of this stuff, and they all do the same thing. And I at this point I can't believe anyone falls for it. I am absolutely stunned by it. And what stuns me even more, right, is when it's people who do watch me, when it is people who do listen to me. I get why when you put out a story about like Russell Brand, there are plenty of people there arguing for him, right? I of course there are. People are stupid and people don't know about this stuff. But for those who do know about it, like, why would you fall for this? Like, I want to know. I really genuinely want to know. And I'm very sure it will have been studied. I maybe need to actually do some fucking research on something just for my own interest. Um, but I don't understand how people fall for the manipulation anymore. And today's video was just another attempt to sort of like hammer it home so that you know it when you're looking at it. And I know that people don't know it, right? I know that people don't know it because I look at these videos, these YouTube and TikTok apology videos, whatever, and you look at the comments, you look at what people are writing in response to them, and you see, oh, great work, great, thank you for the apology, good work, great, you're doing really well, you're really growing, you're really making growth, you're really like bullshit. How did you fall for that? How did you believe that? Right? Believe the accuser. Honestly, look, I would love it if would I love it? I don't know. Would I care? I'm just talking. If accusations made against people actually did often turn out to be untrue, but the truth is that accusations about people more often than not do turn out to be true, and just are true, and it is actually very rare that people make false accusations of any kind and that sort of thing. Parasocial, yeah, they're desperate for that person to not be an arsehole. I get that element of it. I really do. It kind of breaks my heart a bit. It really does. And I think, we've seen other examples of that. I mean, look at the shit that Mila Kunis and Ashton Kutcher are getting for that letter they wrote in support of Danny Masterson. Now, that's what that is, right? There's a guy accused of rape and sexual assault and convicted in court of rape and of sexual assault and being sent to prison for, 30 years? Like, fuck. A 30-year prison sentence. You done some serious shit, dude. And there they are in possession of a letter from Ashton Kutcher and Mila Kunis, and indeed, I think from other people as well. Did it? I'm not sure who. Saying, hey, our mate Danny's a cool guy. He's a cool guy. I've known him for so long. He's such a cool guy. There's no way he did this. Yeah, he did. Yeah, he did. And now they're in the shit backpedaling. Because he definitely did do those things. And they've said, oh, but he was a great guy. And the truth is, yeah, it's this thing. They're desperate for this guy they've known and been friends with for 20 years to not be this bad person. I get that. Maybe I'm just far too willing to throw people under the bus. I don't know. But I'm, excuse me, I'm still working on the basis that if you believe the accuser, you will rarely go wrong. Right? You will rarely go wrong. Believing the accuser is by far the right thing to do and the sensible decision to make, and work from there. And I don't know, I'm prepared for anyone I know to be a dick. I think that's what it is. I'm prepared for anyone I know to potentially be a dick and have done horrible things. I'd like to think that no one I know has done horrible things. I don't know of anyone who has. I don't have any close personal friends that I'm aware have ever done anything horrible. In fact, to be fair, of my entire friendship group, I'm probably the worst person. And I've never done anything all that horrible. And so I get that they don't want those people to have done bad things. But honestly, even like, even close friends, if they were accused of such things, I wouldn't fucking believe them. If they are, I just wouldn't, because these things don't happen. People make accusations when things have really happened to them. And I think, there have certainly been times, quite recently, in fact, where it's been the case where while believing an accuser, was still perhaps unsure until I saw the response. And when you see the response and it is that narcissistic Darvo checklist, go see today's video, then it's like, well, this is proof. This is the fact that you've responded in this way is proof that those accusations are true. And beyond, right? This is the thing with accusations. You only get bits of it, right? And so I'm very sure that, when people accuse, they generally are right more often than not. And cases of maliciousness are actually very rare. And especially when you take into account, like if you're attacking someone on that level, if you're accusing a public figure of something horrible, then it's usually true, because why else would you do that? Why else would you give why else would you put yourself up for that level of scrutiny, that level of attack? I'm very sure that there are reasons why the women in that documentary, for example, didn't want to be identified, um because they're attacked all over the place. Just looking at it, bet it's still trending on Twitter. Northern Lights is trending. Do we have a weird sky thing going on? No, never mind. That's not why I was here. Oh, it's been trending all day. Oh, it is. It's just someone else talking about it. But yeah, it will not be fun for the people who accuse. It's never fun for the people who accuse. Um, and so yeah, tend to believe people. You should, right? And don't forgive people that easily either. I think is key in all of this. Like, don't just accept that people are sorry, because they generally fucking aren't. All right? Go and watch today's video. It was a good one. I was pleased with it. Put it that way. And go and watch today's TikTok. It needs 1,000 views. What is wrong with my TikToks at the moment? I'll think of something with them. And I'll also start reposting my old ones that did a lot better, because that seems to be the way. God, even when I look at my really old ones, they should have done. Oh, I'm not here to moan. I'm not here to moan. Anyway, you're all doing that listening thing, aren't you? You're all sat there listening intently. I love you for it. I really do. I need noisy people though, and she's gone. Oh well. So yeah, that's where we are. It's I don't know, I just have a bee in my bonnet about things at the moment, I think. I'm getting frustrated with the general public at large. I'm getting frustrated with people forgiving so easily when there's clearly something that should not be forgiven or ignored. For people thinking that admitting something is taking responsibility for it. And I don't know what else I have to do. I guess I have to keep beating the drum, right? I have to keep pointing this stuff out when I see it. I have to keep making those videos saying, this is what we do, this is why we do it, look out for X, Y, and Z, and all that sort of thing. Because that's important to do. And let's face it, not everybody sees my videos, right? Very few people relatively see my videos. Frustratingly enough, I wish everybody saw them, but that's simply not the case. And I just have to keep pushing it. But it's difficult. It really is difficult. One of those things. It's one of those things. So I'll come towards the end here. How long have we been going? An hour and a quarter. This is all good. Does anyone else? Why do I make my videos? It's not a common question, that, Pamela, actually. Why do I make videos? That's actually a good question. And it started out as therapy. Okay. It started out as a way to talk my way through what I was doing. So I started back in mid 2020, no, early to mid 2020. Can't really remember when I started exactly. It was definitely once I'd moved in here. And I was, at the time, I'd been in therapy for probably about a year, if not less than. And COVID happened. And so, obviously, when there's a pandemic and a lockdown, you can't go and sit in a room with 8 other patients and 2 therapists and do group therapy. That wasn't allowed anymore. And so therapy stopped. And for the first, I want to say 6 months of lockdown, therapy was a once a fortnight half-hour phone call with the therapist to pretty much check that I hadn't killed myself. That was, I mean, it wasn't therapy. It was a, are you going insane? Do we need to section you while you're in lockdown, or are you doing all right? And I was always doing all right, so that was fine. But I still needed to talk, and so I started making YouTube videos, and I needed to not only keep talking my way through my own stuff, but I needed to tell people what it was that was wrong with me. I needed to sort of share why I was how I was. That's been a very important part of all of this. Is like explaining to I wish more people I knew watched my videos. Uh Not from a ratings perspective, but from a simple uh sort of now you'll understand me better perspective, because if you watch my videos on YouTube, you'll get to understand me a lot. And that was a big part of it. Those things. It was my own therapy, and it was explaining me to other people. And then it became about helping other people, because a lot of the messages I get, a lot of comments that I get, things like, thank you for explaining this thing, thank you for putting that into words, or showing me that I go through the same thing you do, or telling me what my girlfriend's going through, all that stuff. Thank you for explaining. um and so it as I got better and moved through therapy, because therapy obviously came back. Even during lockdown, we went to Microsoft Teams and did it over video chat. Um, and eventually, once we had a room where we could all sit at least a meter apart and that sort of thing, we got back into real life therapy, wearing masks and the like. Um, and as I reached that point and became better, then you sort of get the need to help other people get better as well. um Especially when you're hearing from a lot of people where they're asking, how did you get better? And you go, I got therapy. Can you get therapy? And they go, no. Like, it's either not available to me, or I can't afford it, or whatever. There's lots of people who can't get help for whatever reason. And you realize that, well, I'm not a doctor, I'm not a clinical therapist, I'm not anything like that. But I do know what I did. And I know how I felt, and I know how I feel now, and I know how I got from where I was to where I am. So maybe if I share that stuff, then maybe that will help the people who can't get the help. You know, However much it helps them, I'm not, I don't think I'm curing anyone of their BPD. I don't think I'm saving the world. I don't think I'm spreading the word of cluster B stigma and all of this other. I don't think I'm doing any of that. I'm just doing my little bit that I can do. And now I'm at this point where I make videos because genuinely I want to help people as much as I can. Right? The other reason is I like making videos. This is, I've always been a content creator. This is what I've done my entire life since before leaving university, right? And so now I get to make content about stuff that helps people, which is good. Doing Star Trek podcasts back in the day was really cool and fun, and that was great. And a lot of people got a lot out of it, and doing movie reviews and doing tech reviews and all the myriad of podcasts I did about various TV shows over the years. Um, that was great, and I enjoyed every second of it, but it didn't help anyone. I used to kid myself thinking I'm being a positive thing in the world because I make people happy. I make people smile. I make people laugh. I point out stuff they will enjoy and appreciate that isn't mine, like go and watch this movie, watch this TV show, that kind of thing. And that's my positive influence in the world. But now I feel like I'm really doing something worthwhile. Like I'm not just trying to exist in the world, I'm trying to make the world nicer for other people too. Because I can. And if I can, then don't I have an obligation to do that? I don't know. I kind of feel like I do. Like if I can help people at all who suffer from the same things I've suffered from and continue to suffer from, if I can do that, I have a responsibility to do that. I think. Um and yeah, I don't make as much difference as other people do, perhaps. I make more difference than some other people do, perhaps, but I just do my thing and I hope it helps. And I hope I am a source of positive influence in the world. Um, you know, and so that's why I make my videos still. And honestly, I don't know what else to do, but that is mainly why I make my videos. I want to do something good in the world. You know, I always wanted to make my mark on the world. I want to leave a dent in the world, I want to make a dent in the world, as Steve Jobs would have said. Right? I'm here to make a dent in the world and go, that bit was me. And that's what this is. You know, that's what this is really. And that's why I enjoy it so much. I love hanging out with you guys. I love doing one-to-ones. If you want to book a one-to-one, earlymorningbarking.com. I think my booking site is still up. Um, in the event that it's not, just email me. MPD, BPD, peer support. And I love doing those, so pop on over to Early Morning Barking and book one of those if you want it. Super Anxiety Chick, it's been a delight having you here. You take care and good luck with your channel. Um, and so yeah, this is why. Um, and I think in general, it's good to put a face and a personality to these issues, right? The narcissist who is bad, the borderline who is permanently sad, and all of that, all the stigma, all of the stereotypical stuff. I think it's bad, but you need a face to these things. You need a person in front of you telling you what it's like, and that's what I try to do. That's it. But I'm not under any illusions that I'm doing any massive things here. I have to stress that those days are behind me. I no longer want to take over the world as much as I did. It would be so cool though. It would be, honestly, if I was running everything, it would be so fucking cool, and you know it. I mean, I'd have to cull the stupid people, but see, that's why I just run into difficulty straight away. You probably shouldn't let me run the world. Probably don't do that. Probably don't do that. Not that I think anyone was rushing out to do that. So that's that, but that's it. That's why I make my videos. That's why I do what I do, all of that sort of thing. So, but anyway, I shall get off and I'm going to leave you now. But thank you for watching, everybody. Go and check out my other videos, the Patreon. Go and check out the one-to-ones, earlymorningbarking.com. There's links to everything on that. I also have a podcast, which is like this, but without video. That's podcast. Do you remember video podcasts? That was the thing for about 20 minutes. And then we just went, nah, YouTube, fuck it. And so that's why we're here. But you all take care. You have a good night. Look after yourselves. Watch out for narcissists. All this sort of thing. And I will see you later. Bye.